You're listening to the Mind Hiking Podcast. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and today is just going to be me. Sorry for a solo Monday episode, first time since episode 1, but it was a crazy week, and I just lost track of time and didn't have time to schedule another interview, and I didn't have any backups, so here we are. It is Sunday night, and I'm recording right before I release tomorrow, so I'm going to have no time to review this, so hopefully it ends up okay. But yeah, we had a wild, we've talked about last year's Halloween party, but yeah, here we are, and I was planning that, making that good, and lost track of time, and then forgot to schedule an episode, so we're just gonna run solo. So hopefully you guys still enjoy it, and if you do, spread the word. Give it a 5-star review. That'd be awesome. And yeah, thank you guys all for all your support. It means a lot. And don't mind my scratchy, like half lost voice, because I was doing a lot of screaming during the Halloween party and kind of lost my voice. So my apologies. So hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. And with that said, stay tuned. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. Hey guys, it's just me today. Today I kind of, with the whole Halloween party and everything, kind of lost track of time and didn't really schedule things properly. And here we are. It is now Sunday, and obviously no time to get somebody over here to do a quick interview. So my apologies. I haven't had a Monday release with just me since episode 1. So, what is that? I think it's going to be episode 64. So that's pretty good. But here we are, just me. But I got some stuff on my mind, so should be pretty good still. Today, kind of thinking about the word, just language and the way we use it, and in the strength and power behind words. And I feel like there's a lot more meaning and depth behind words than what, obviously we're using words to communicate every day. So we become kind of numb to the strength of them because we use them for everything, for describing and communicating and everything. And you're just hearing words all day, every day, and it just becomes normal. And I think we quickly lose track of the strength and power behind words. And to me, it's amazing how emotions can change so drastically just with a few words. You could say the right words or the wrong words and drastically change, anything from your emotions, somebody else's emotions, to a whole environment just with word choice. And it's crazy. It's amazing. And like I look at my dogs, and it's like obviously they can't talk, and like I just find myself staring at them, and I'm like, they wrestle around and they play with each other, but like, have you ever seen dogs argue? Have you ever seen any animal argue? Like, you'll see them fight over a toy, but I think human beings are the only animals where you can be in a room together and not move. Like, you could both be sitting on the couch or doing anything. Like, just like sitting there, no toy like a pet dog or anything, nothing involved between the two. And like if you think of it like watching animals, like how weird this would look. It would look so weird, but like human beings, we're so weird. Like we can, like, what is an argument? It's the power of the word. It's the strength behind words. It's amazing to me because we're the only ones that are like, you could be sitting there totally fine, two humans, and all of a sudden, like, the environment and everything around you, it can all just change in an instant. Like you can go from being totally happy to absolutely miserable in the blink of an eye just by making sounds with your mouth. To me, that's absolutely insane. And like, if you're just like observing humans, like if you were just like watching humans, like if we weren't human and we were like just observing this planet, how weird that would look. We are so weird, especially compared to every other animal. Like you just like look around this planet and you see all these animals just like getting by, working together, doing all this stuff. But we're the only ones that can like change emotions by making sounds with our mouths like that. Like, and just get messages across and like just like taking offense to things. Like no animal ever has taken offense to, like, you ever seen a dolphin just like swimming with another dolphin and like, oh, how dare you say that? And then all of a sudden just like get pissed at the other dolphin for sounds that it made. It's like the weirdest thing to me. Like just getting messages across and like the strength behind what we say. It all, I don't know, there's more power in your mind than you think. It's like, it's amazing because it's all invisible. It's like you're literally just sending ripples or vibrations through the air to other humans, and they're just decoding it in their minds, and it has meaning. It's so weird. Like the words you're hearing me say now have meaning, and just the fact that I can just like code something up in my head and project it out like this, and this is just like not even including the technology behind it, where it's like the mic is picking it up and then like coding it so it can travel ones and zeros through a wire and into the computer, and then uploaded and can be played over and over again. Like, not leaving that aside, just the like point A to point B kind of thing, just like making sounds, and you guys can interpret these words. That's amazing. And like the fact that you could be totally fine and happy listening to this podcast, but if I say something like offensive or something that you don't agree with, like how quickly that can change your opinions on not just like me, but the podcast itself. It's just like, it's funny how like powerful words are and how we got to like tiptoe around like how we use them, and like how much it affects other people. And yeah, it's just so crazy and amazing to me. Just like, and the fact that you lump that person together with something bigger, like there's, I don't know if it's something with humans in general or what, but just like the fact that we want to like, I feel like it is a human trait, just that we want to understand the world around us, and so then we just categorize things. We like find things, like we discover things, and then we want to categorize it. What is it like? What is it? it's like this, it's related to this, it's a cousin of this animal or whatever, like we're always categorizing. So like same thing with people too. Like we're not happy with just like we're all humans kind of thing. No, it's like we not only do we divide each other up by how we look, but we also divide each other up by how we think, which is even crazier. Like why do we got to divide each other up based off of like if I said one thing wrong in your guys' opinion, like any of you listening, if I said one thing wrong in the podcast, and this is just an easy example, like using the podcast, but immediately, and obviously this can go for any podcast, like same with like Joe Rogan, for example, he like, you see people that either love him or hate him. And it's like, it's just funny to hear. And a lot of it too is like, even like 3 people in, like they've never even listened to an episode, but they just lump him in or they lump me in with anybody just because they've heard that person has said something through somebody else. And it's just like passed down the line, like, oh, that person must be a this or that or that. Oh, they said this, that they must think that, So then you immediately want to clump them in with somebody or group them, just like categorize them, just because of something that they said. And it's just so interesting to me that we want to just like categorize people and it's like, I don't know. I get it because like, obviously I get it because I am a human. So it's like, so I understand, but like trying to look at things objectively, which I try to do a lot. I try to look at them like scientifically and just like figure out like, yeah, we're here and like we know what we know and we were raised the way we were raised. But I like to take a step back and try to think like, okay, just for a moment, eliminate what all the like preconceptions, like everything that I've been taught or told, like try to like eliminate that or like push that aside for now and just look at things objectively. Like use your senses totally objectively. Like what am I literally taking in right now and try to just decipher it for myself without any bias. And when you do that, it is a interesting world out there. Like there's so much that we do that is just so weird. And like, so where I was going was just like the fact that I understand it is because like we are like tribal creatures and tribal animals and like the world is just so weird. Like we just got like, who even knows what we're supposed to be like programmed for or like used to being like, because obviously being in a tribe, like we're probably used to like what size group of people are you comfortable being in? Like you want a group size, like say, like the people you spend most time with, like the people you work with and stuff like that. So you're in many groups, but like back when it was like tribal days, it was like you had your tribe. How big is the tribe? I don't know. I mean, there's probably some tribes that were like 20 people. There were some tribes that were probably a couple hundred people. So it's like, I don't know. Call it like 60 to 80 people is like a typical. I don't know. I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass right now, but that's enough people. Like you could still know everybody by name and like everybody knows everybody kind of thing. Like think about your graduating class in high school or college or whatever. But like think about your graduating class. Like you pretty much, well, I mean, I guess some people might have went to some massive schools. I don't know. Or if you're an introvert or what. I mean, I was a pretty heavy introvert, but I knew everybody and everybody knew me. So I don't know, but this is just a quick example, but in school, like, everybody and however many people that was, however many hundreds of people that was, like, you know everybody. So that's my point, is like, that's what I would imagine that we're programmed for or used to, and that's what we would associate with. And now in this world, like, we're like clumping ourselves into like nations now, and it's like, I don't even know how many millions of people are in just the United States. Hundreds of millions of people. I don't know. That's a stat I gotta definitely look up. But wild guess, 300 million people or somewhere around there. But 3 to 400 million. That's a big ass group to lump yourself in as. And then we have like people making decisions for us that have no fucking idea what they're doing, trying to like protect or defend us as a tribe against what, another 300 million person group. Like, nobody has, all you know is like who you hear from the other person. Like, you're just hearing through other people, so you have no idea what's even going on or what you're fighting over. So it's like, what's the point of all this fighting in the first place? And especially with just a few people up top that think they're making the right decision for 300 million people. Are you kidding me? And again, I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but like, that's a fucking huge ass tribe to be making life-changing decisions for, if you ask me. I don't know. But either way, like, it's still goofy to, I mean, even if we can do that, then why isn't it just like what's the point of all the bickering anyways? Like, it is crazy to me. Again, it all comes down to like categorizing each other based on region, based on looks, based on beliefs, based on sounds we make coming out of our mouths, which is absolutely amazing to me. The fact that we can cause so much damage, we can just be so upset, be so affected by sounds, vibrations that we create coming out of our mouths. You don't see that out of any other animal except for humans. And that is a weird thing. That is a weird concept. The fact that we can cause so much chaos with sound. Just so much chaos and destruction, and like, just with a little bit of frequency, just with a little bit of noise, just with the power of the word. It's amazing how strong meaning is. Meaning behind the word, and like, where does that strength come from? Where does the meaning come from? Is that just, like is that just like impregnated in our heads from young children growing up, just from our parents? Is that the offense that we take? Is that from childhood traumas? I don't know. It's like, where does that all stem from? Where does like the strength behind the word, the power? Like, why can sounds affect us as much as they do? And some sounds, depending on the person too, affect them more than another. And it's just like, looking at it objectively, like if you were looking at it as not a human being, that is weird. Just like seeing that, especially if you weren't human and you were looking at this planet like that, and like seeing all these other animals, and then seeing human beings, they're all the same creature. And then the fact that we divide ourselves, like, no other animal just like divides themselves like that, but we do. And then offend each other with the strength behind the word. And this, where that strength comes from, it's, who knows? Like I said, I don't know if that's just from childhood or if that's something deeper, if that's something like in our DNA or something that's like in our minds or something that's like a part of us, like in our blood. And I don't know if meaning comes with us or if we create that along the way. It's tough to say. Maybe a little bit of both. Because again, I guess that's a good example. That's kind of categorizing right there, is trying to decipher where something stems from too. Because you're trying to understand the world around us, like I am, and it's tough to do. So you start figuring out things you're taking in and looking at what you see, looking at what you hear, all your senses, and then using that, what you take in, along with what you already know and have taken in the past in similar situations, and you try to just decode everything going on around us, and it's a tough thing to do, is look objectively, and it could be just a little bit of a lot of things. So who even knows? But it is, what I do know is everything's so weird. And I think we just got so used to it just from being us for so long, and just going through our day. We get so wrapped up in what we're trying to do in our lives and like what we're trying to accomplish and the problems that we see as problems that might be meaningless and pointless. But I don't know, we get so wrapped up in that we don't even realize how weird everything is. How weird we are. I don't know, it's a goofy life, goofy world, goofy everything, and what's crazier is just the fact that we have no idea, like why are we just like brought into this, like as far as we know, without choice, brought into this world. I don't know if it's like some sort of a punishment. For all we know, it could also be a reward, being in this life, depending on how you look at it and go about it. And for all we know, maybe we did choose to do this. Maybe this was better than whatever was the other options. If we had a choice beforehand and it was like hop into life, and then who even knows if this is like better than where we were, and the only thing is you just lose your memory going into this, or you got to start fresh, or if you get something out of it once you get to the end of it, or like if we're put in here trying to search for something specific and get out of here. I don't know, but it is so weird that we're just placed in here and have no idea what's going on, and then I don't know. I'm just coming up with random stuff, but everybody's just as clueless, and just like the vastness of everything around us, and the fact that we're on this like perfect mixture of a rock floating around in a solar system, floating around in a universe. It's like, what even is a universe? Like, is that, and the universe is expanding too, because like everything's moving away from us, and it's growing, and it's like what's outside of what's already grown? Like, if the universe is always expanding, which it is, what's past that? What is it expanding into? If there was nothing before, what could expand? What is the universe expanding into? What could it be going into? How could it expand if there's nothing outside of it? That's always been a huge question in my head, is like, there's space, which is part of the universe, but what is outside of the expanding universe? What can the universe possibly be expanding into? Because if it's expanding, there's something beyond it, but what is it? It can't be space, because that's part of the universe. I don't know. It like, you want to say nothingness, but like, what is that? I don't know. It really, you start thinking this big, and it really shrinks your problems. It really gives you a new perspective to look at, something to be like, what's really going on here? What really matters here? Who knows? Do our choices really matter that much? Do what I say and do really matter that much? One thing's for sure, how we started this episode, we can obviously see our effect on each other by the power of the word. That's got to mean something, right? I don't know. What makes us different than any other animal? Why are we so drastically different? Because we are. There's so many things that make us different. Like this language, obviously the whole episode here is a massive tangent on the power of the word and the fact that we're the only ones that can use it. But we also got these thumbs, so we can grab things and build things. Monkeys can do that too, and there's proof of them using tools, making things, and using tools too, picking stuff up and throwing them, including shit. But like, what? Why? Like, we got this language, we got these thumbs. Why are we the only ones that stand upright? It's like, you hear like being how dangerous it is to be in the jungle, but like these cats, cheetahs, and like jaguars and stuff like that are all like looking at us, like, because they're used to being up in trees, jumping down on four-legged creatures, and you got a massive surface below you, a big back to jump down and land on and grab a hold of the back of their neck. But then you got upright creatures walking around. Like, how freaky are we? Like, if you were a cheetah or something in a jungle and just an upright being walks past you, that's freaking freaky. That'd freak me out if I'm not used to seeing something like that. They're looking down and all they see is head and shoulders, and they're like, in some swinging arms, and it's like, how do I attack that thing? Do I want to attack that thing? Like, that, they don't even know how to go about. They can't even, like, they don't even, from above, they can't even get a clear shot at our neck. The head's in the way, the shoulders are there. It's like they're used to just dropping down on like wild boars and stuff. And their neck is like fully exposed from above. You can drop right down on their neck. Like, how weird are we? The size of our heads and brains. It's like, I mean, I know there's other animals with monstrous head, but the portions, the ratios, the size of our head versus the rest of our body, it's like, I don't know. It's like, what makes us so different? There's got to be something. Obviously, that just all these things in themselves are something special about human beings, but like, were we like chosen to run the world, or is this just something evolutionary that we just kind of won the battle of evolution? We just got a lucky roll of the dice and had a good selection of shit to work with, and next thing you know, evolution took its course, and here we are running the planet. I don't know. I don't know if that's, or if we were built this way on purpose with a purpose. Because it sort of feels like that. Or if that's just our crazy human brains that also caused us to win the evolutionary battle that is just trying to fight for a reason. Maybe we just made up the search for a reason, the search for a purpose on our own. Maybe there isn't one. Maybe we're just making this shit up as we go because we're trapped. Because our purpose was to survive, and now we've boxed ourselves into this safety net that we've built around us and stole our own purpose away. Maybe our purpose was just to start a family and survive. Live long enough to find a mate, start a family, raise your offspring, and carry on until you can't anymore, and hope that you prepared your offspring the best you could and enough to get by. And maybe that was your purpose, and we just dug into it too much. And now we built this safety net around us, our lives, these walls, and we stole our own purpose away. Or if we gifted ourselves the time and energy to be able to think about it. Maybe we gifted ourselves. Maybe we were gifted. Maybe we were given these gifts on our body, on and in our bodies, that we were able to escape that survival, or at least kind of put a buffer or a barrier between us and Mother Nature, so we can actually sit here and think about the real issues, the real problems. That's another possibility. That's just as likely. Because again, none of us know anything. You guys all know just as much as I do. We could just be getting to the point where now we can. It's just funny how you're starting to see all these mental disorders when you never heard about this before. And if you talk to anybody older, they all say, like, you talk to your grandparents if they're still alive, and even your parents too. Like, all these mental disorders were never around back when they were growing up. And I don't know if it's just that it wasn't socially acceptable, or you were like outcasted if you had some sort of a mental disorder back then, or if they didn't exist because they were working hard and trying to survive. And now we've boxed ourselves in just enough. A couple generations like this go by, and now it hurts because we stole our purpose away. Or if the mental disorder is just a side effect of straining our minds, searching for a reason. That could be just as likely too. Maybe that's just a side effect or a stepping stone on the pathway that must happen. That could be. Maybe we need to get through that. Maybe that's just a phase. Maybe that's just something that's got to happen. Maybe we got to, like, get through that. Maybe that's an evolutionary step. I mean, like, autistic people, they're so smart. Like, people with autism are geniuses. The way they think is so much different. Like, maybe that's like an evolutionary step forward. Maybe they're going to, like, rule the world. Maybe they're going to take over. Maybe that's the next step. Like the next language, the next evolutionary progression. That could be too. That could be just as likely. Maybe that's the future. That could be. I mean, it makes sense because, I mean, we're like socially distancing ourselves. Nobody sits down and has conversations anymore. we're all on our phones. Today at the grocery store, we were walking down the aisle and I had to stop because like a couple girls in front of me were like, "Mom, where are we going? Mom, where are we going? Where are we going?" Because they were like, we were about to like bump carts, so I stopped and they stopped too, and they're like, "Where are we going?" And the mom was just sitting on her phone and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and just like kind of like pushing off her kids while she was on her phone. I'm like, that's weird that was the mom. But we're just like isolating ourselves, isolating our own minds, even though we have people all around us. And like social awkwardness, like it's very common that people with autism are socially awkward and struggle with communication like that. So maybe that's just a step forward because that's where the world's going. We don't communicate anymore. Maybe just enough to get the message across. Maybe that is a step forward because it's not going to be as offensive. Maybe it's a curse. Maybe it's going to hurt us because now you're dulling the power of the word. Because now it's just get the message across. Maybe it's moving backwards, back towards animals, where they don't get offended by things because they don't have that language. They argue and fight over sticks or food or meat or anything like that, but like maybe it's the other way. Maybe we're going in reverse. Maybe we like hit a peak and we're coming down now because we're separating ourselves. Maybe we're just creating technology. Maybe that's our purpose, is just to create technology, to create the future, to create what was the beginning. Maybe we're just in a loop, in a circle, in a system that repeats itself, that created itself. Maybe we're just maybe we're just cells that just have a purpose of progressing technology to create it. I don't know. There's so much here to unpack. There's so much to dig into when you're searching for purpose. But it's just weird because a lot of ideas like this are going to make a lot of people question things, and it's like easy to obviously get wrapped up in your own problems, and a lot of people don't want to. Maybe life is just a distraction from the real problems. Maybe nobody wants to look into these issues. Maybe people are afraid to ask themselves questions that their souls are crying out to be answered. Maybe it's just a distraction. Maybe we don't want to look any deeper. Maybe we're afraid, and that's why we created entertainment. What's the purpose of entertainment? To kill time? To distract us? What's the purpose of apps and our cell phones and games, gaming systems, computers, the movie theater? What is the point of all that? TVs, shows, all this stuff. It's all entertainment. And what's the purpose of entertainment? To entertain you? Why? To escape this world? To kill time? To distract you? So you don't get lost in your own mind? So you don't get scared? So you don't discover something that you're supposed to? Because it's scary? Maybe we don't want the answers. Maybe we're covering up the answers ourselves. Maybe there's people in this world that do have the answers, but it's just too horrifying for the public to know. people are too lost in their own lives here that they don't want to disrupt it by releasing the real answer. So they just stick themselves into this fake reality to get by for now, because at least they can pretend like they're happy. But maybe there is something at the end. Maybe everything we do does mean something. Maybe everything we do has a purpose, has a meaning. Maybe we're supposed to be doing something, but we're doing the wrong thing because we're afraid. Maybe we are safe. What if we're afraid of risk, so we spend our whole lives not taking a chance on what we're supposed to do because we're afraid of risk, but really this is a safe place. Maybe this universe is a safe place and we're supposed to take risk. Maybe when you get a thought in your head, you're supposed to do that. Maybe when you have something arise in your mind that feels right, maybe you're supposed to act on that even when everyone around you says it's crazy. Maybe that first voice is the right one. Something that's interesting to me that I've noticed is when you're talking about finding purpose or meaning or happiness, the pursuit of happiness, the first voice is what matters. Because then the second voice comes in and tells you, no, that's stupid, don't do that. The first voice, I believe, is going to be the one that is truly you. Because the doubt comes next. You have a good idea, and if you have a good idea and you get excited about it, follow that excitement. And if you think it's a good idea, it is a good idea. Because then the doubt comes in, and that's what's going to stop you, and that's what's going to hold you down, because you're going to hold yourself down just like you hold everybody down around you. We all do. We want to fit in. We all want to fit in. And it's a safety thing. We're not trying to hurt anybody by it. That's a major human fear, is being outcasted, because in nature, as tribal beings, you die. If you're outcasted, you die. So we strive to fit in a group. Humans can't survive as lone wolves. When they were outcasted, they would be killed. We needed to stick together. We needed to hunt in groups and work together and farm things and fish and collect berries and work together. That's how we survived. That's how we're still surviving. So it's a deep, resonating human fear to be outcasted, to be different, to stand out, because then you're vulnerable. And you don't want that, because that's where you die. Or at least that's what we tell ourselves. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe all these years that was wrong. Maybe we're supposed to. Maybe we're supposed to step outside. Maybe that's where we find our purpose, our calling. Maybe it is safe out there. Maybe we've just told ourselves this story for so long that if you're different, if you're outcasted, you'll die, that we all believe it. So we all keep each other in check, so we don't find out what's out there. What is out there? It's like your mind is a mini universe. Fuck, for all we know, the mind could be bigger than the universe. you look out in your mind and it damn feels like it. Shit goes on forever. But we got our little campsite in our mind, and we just don't stray outside of that. You don't stray outside of the fire's light into the trees. Something might be out there. But maybe it's something good. Maybe it's something we need. Maybe it's scary on the surface because it's uncomfortable. But maybe we need it. Maybe we need to grow, and staying by the warm campfire is hurting us. Maybe that's why we're not happy, because we're supposed to carry on. We're supposed to adventure. We're supposed to explore. What's out in the universe? What's out in our minds? Maybe depression comes when you stand by the campfire too long. When you're afraid to go out. Maybe your campfire, your campsite is out of supplies. That campsite you built in your mind, maybe it's out of supplies and you're out of nourishment and you're whittling away to nothing. You're starving, you're thirsty. But it's familiar. So you stay by the campfire. Maybe your campfire is burning out. Maybe you're out of wood and you're getting cold. But you know the area, so you stay there your whole life. Just because you're afraid to wander. Maybe wandering's good. Maybe we're supposed to explore. Maybe we're supposed to be lost. Maybe we're supposed to explore. Maybe we're supposed to get lost so that way when we die, we're found. Because maybe you can't be found when you die if you don't get lost. I don't know. There's so much to explore. I would hate to trap myself. Who knows? Everything. I could be so far off from any of these, and I'm trying to touch both extremes, both sides of all of this, all the dimensions that we can take on this, and I'm only scratching the surface on all of this, but these are just some typical thoughts that run through my head every day. So something to chew on. So hopefully that got you guys thinking. Who knows? Nobody really knows. And yeah, there's a lot to uncover, there's a lot to discover, and there's a lot to unpack. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If this resonated with any of you guys, I'd love to hear it. Give a 5 stars to the podcast. It's free. No ads. I'm not charging anything. I'm just doing it because I love doing this. So if you like it, I would appreciate it if you followed the podcast. Give it a 5-star review. That would be awesome. Share it with a friend. If you like it, don't be afraid to go back and listen to some of your old favorite episodes. That would be awesome too. So the support really means a lot. And I enjoy doing this, and I love all your support, and that's what keeps me going too. So that, and being able to look back on it, it's going to be so exciting to show my children this. So, yep. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Share it. Give it a 5-star. And have a great rest of your day, guys. Sorry it was just me, but hopefully it was still good. Rock on. Peace out.